Mr. Aaron Sager. Aaron and I share a love for Disney and ghosts and geeky stuff, and I've known him for, if you haven't noticed, I just bring my friends here. Partly because I do enjoy spending the weekend with them, but also because I trust them to impart really wonderful information to you guys. Like, they're all like very versed, very knowledgeable, and Aaron's just got a lot of stuff to say. He's always been like kind of the paranormal pop culture guru, and now you get to see him on Paranormal Caught on Camera every week. So he's like the best self-filmer I've ever seen. We've all had to do it during the pandemic. We've had to film ourselves many times, but Aaron has got the lighting down. It's pretty fabulous. So well done, sir. Well done. So anyways, you guys, please enjoy Mr. Aaron Sagers.
Give it up again for Amy. Thank you so much for having us out. I'm so glad I'm going to set this little camera up over here, but how great is it that we're just back at events and back at the world? Like, I am excited about that because it has been a long stretch. How many of you guys is like your first kind of trip back out in the world? Anybody? Yes. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Welcome back. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm honored actually to be part of the your first event back. So let's see if that works. See why not. Let's see if that falls down. I will have ruined Amy's nice compliment about me being a self-filmer. I'm going to dive into Paranormal Caught on Camera. And first off, let me just kind of go through a couple other things. But this is, I didn't know which direction to go with this talk, okay? Because we are wrapping up season 4. Episodes are airing. We're already filming season 5. And I will answer any questions, no holds barred, lay anything on me, and we can go there. We can go any direction you want to go into. I also can tell stories of my own life. I can tell some of my favorite haunted stories if we want to do that. But let me just say, Paranormal Caught on Camera, season 4 wrap up, also known as the Dobby Show. It's when you get stood up, like when this guy gets better billing than you, who's on the show for like 60 episodes, or The Rake. We really love The Rake on that show, talking about The Rake. But we'll talk. First off, who am I? I don't expect that you guys know who I am. I've been around a long time, and I work as a journalist. That's my background, and I still work as a journalist. But I've also been a TV host. I'm an author. I created a podcast called Nightmerica, which is a true crime and paranormal storytelling podcast. I have, when I say journalists, Chicago Tribune Company, CNN, LA Times, every major newspaper pretty much I've worked in or been interviewed by. And my shtick is I've talked about everything. I started out as like a blood and guts guy. Can you guys hear me back there, by the way? Or am I, you can? You can, okay, cool. So I started out as a blood and guts reporter and then quickly moved into entertainment because I am a nerd, all right? And proudly a nerd. And when I was a little kid reading comic books, I was also watching Twilight Zone and reading sci-fi novels and watching horror movies, but also learning about the paranormal. So some people have this separation of church and state when it comes to the paranormal, that no, you have to be very serious and only serious when you're dealing with paranormal. That is not me at all. It is all connected. I loved Ghostbusters as a kid, and I still do. So, but what I am not a ghost buster. I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm not a ghost adventurer. I worked with all those folks, and I like their stories. How many of you guys are die-hard believers in all things paranormal, pretty much? Okay. How many of you are die-hard, like, cynics, non-believers? It's okay if you get it. Okay, a couple. Good, welcome. Thank you for being here. How many of you sort of fit somewhere in the middle, like this sliding scale of belief? Okay. That's largely where I am. I am not dogmatic and I am not cynical. I believe and I have beliefs, but also I think there's a lot of bad wiring and leaky faucets and bad plumbing out there in the world. How many of you guys, so we talk about sort of the trifecta of ghosts, Bigfoot, and aliens. Who believes in elementals? Okay, nature spirits. Who believes in fairies, leprechauns, trolls? Okay, kind of winnowing it down a little bit. Who believes in unicorns? The unicorns have been out there. A couple unicorn people.
I saw the video. It must be true.
Must be true. There's a video. As someone that does those shows, let me say, maybe not true. We could get into that too. Okay, what else? Like, who believes in Mothman? Okay. See, I love gauging all of this because my feeling is when I started out, I was very much about like, okay, ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens. And then, well, no, I wouldn't buy into vampires. Vampires can't exist. But then you go deeper into the deep end of the swimming pool of weirdness. And you're like, well, why not? If you're going to start opening the door, cracking it open to the possibility of, you know, a life after death, why stop there? Who sets the rules up that says, well, okay, maybe a revenant of some sort doesn't exist? Who's to say? Not me. I think it's all potentially out there. And that's something that I like about Caught on Camera. Let me, if you will, indulge me for a moment. I want to kind of take a look back at some of the stuff I've worked on because I'm realizing that it has, when I put this video together during quarantine, I realized that it had been about 10 years that I started actively doing paranormal shows. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to just show a little bit of a video from this time, this weird, strange trip that I've been on. If the audio works. Oh, maybe not.
Can you lip sync it?
I lived it, man. I probably could. Is it muted? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, let's try this again. A lot of people would suggest that that is demonic in nature. People died from that kind of thing. These ghost-like beings have been spotted throughout the countryside with seemingly no explanation of where they came from. All of us have experienced that little tingling sensation on the back of our neck, or felt a chill. Maybe we just dismiss it. But what is actually happening right next to us that we didn't see? Guide for tonight.
Aaron Sagers is a paranormal researcher and historian. He travels the world, hosting ghost tourism events, and is the founder of ParanormalPopCulture.com.
This is the Kreischer Mansion, built in 1885 by Balthazar Kreischer, and he was a brick
Balthazar Kreischer. Yeah. This is like almost Kanye level of opulence.
Yeah. Well, they say he was the Kanye of the day.
Yeah, that's
Kreischer. Like Kreischer.
Typical Kreischer.
I think we should check out a little spiritual communication. So, Aaron, you want to ask if Edward's with us?
Hey, bud.
I like that you're on that level with him.
Yeah, I'm open, buddy. You know, hey,
very informal. Yeah. Did your brother kill you in this house?
Oh, okay.
Seems to say yes.
Yes.
I don't want to touch this.
You've broken the chain.
I'm sorry. I don't.
I mean, I feel weird.
If this is indeed you talking, we're going to close off the session, and perhaps you could join us. If there's something going on in this house, reveal yourself. So we're going to say goodbye now. According to Ouija board superstition, it is closed now. A child that was under her care died, curiously, suspiciously, by a knitting needle that was stabbed through the base of this child's skull. People said she was guilty, and the stories of witchcraft followed her till the end of her days. Welcome back to Paranormal Lockdown Evidence Revealed. I'm here with Nick Broad and Katrina Wyden. And we've been talking about living in the world's most haunted locations for 72 hours straight. When someone lives in a haunted house, they can at least go out for ice cream or something. You guys are stuck there. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some of the physical encounters that Nick and Katrina have had to deal with in the paranormal, and hear what was not shown from those moments. We'll be right back. I'm searching for answers. When I'm going into these investigations, I'm not entering as a believer. If anything, I'm seeking to separate myth from truth.
Join Aaron Sagers and his team of reporters as they travel the country hunting down stories of the paranormal. Hey, I'm Taylor on Paranormal Paparazzi.
The idea that they were actually practicing witchcraft, this is big.
Yeah.
This is like the grassy knoll of the paranormal. This is a huge ongoing story of mass sightings, and it's one that apparently could go back far longer than we even knew. And if this is real, I cannot think of a better use of resources to explore phenomenon. With all these people seeing it, we have to look further. Whatever the origin is of this model, we know for a fact that a human removed it. And whether he's a prankster or a concerned citizen, what if he is merely a pawn in a much larger game? I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. That one got me into a little bit of trouble. But I'm not going to name names, but it was someone with very tall hair. And then I've been doing this Ripley's Road Trip new show over there, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So Paranormal Caught on Camera. Like, we are in the midst of filming season 5, and what we do is people submit videos from all over the world, okay? And the other clip, Paranormal Paparazzi, was sort of an earlier pre-version of what Caught on Camera was. We were trying to, at that time, Paparazzi was produced by me and Zach Bagans, and the idea was to have like a timely look at paranormal phenomena as people are experiencing it out in the world. And now Caught on Camera is doing that in a very good way as well. And what I happen to love about Caught on Camera is that we have a diversity of people. We have videos from all over the world, and in essence, it's on the Travel Channel. In essence, it is a travel show because we get to pop around to all parts of the world, and are even dipping our toe into things like TikTok phenomena, which I won't say is all real, but it is fascinating. We're able to talk about things like Jen or fairies or Loch Ness Monster or elementals or house elves, Domovoy out of Russia, or a lobosomem, which is like the Brazilian werewolf, things like that. But again, the notion of Caught on Camera is not that this is all real, but it's about posing questions about what we are seeing. And what we try to do is, I mean, like, does anybody have any questions about the show or how it's filmed or about whether or not we're the validity or veracity of any of the clips? Does anybody ever wonder about that if you watch the show?
Sometimes you get clips and you're like, come on.
Great question. I mean, that's not a question, that was a comment.
Yeah, more like, well, yeah, like, do you ever get clips that you look at them and you're like, this is not?
All the time.
Okay.
So with the show, what I love about it is, first off, I really like our producers. I think we have a great production team. Some of them are really bad, okay? And some are just hard to verify or not. But the show is not about debunking or proving. It's about posing questions. And what I try to do, and I can't speak for everybody, but what I try to do is say, okay, I didn't interview this eyewitness. That's one part about the show, is like, we don't interview the eyewitnesses if we even get interviews, because some of these clips we can't get the actual person. But I try to say, much like all of you, many of you have come up to me and then throughout the years being like, here's this thing that I filmed. I wasn't there when you filmed it. Now I have to take your word for it, that you explained the environment as you experienced it and you try to control for everything. So when I get a clip, I have to say, okay, if I'm taking this at face value, if what you are telling me is true, what might this be? Or how might I think about it? Some of them are terrible. Some of them are clearly like a physical person wandering around a castle with a cloak on, and they're like, that's not a ghost, that's just a dude with a cloak on. But I try to take that opportunity to say, like, well, if I was in this scenario, what might I think? What might be going through my head? And there is sort of this like other element to it that what would like who's been investigating the paranormal for, let's say, 20 years? Anybody? Sort of? Okay. I'm gonna call you out. What's your name, sir?
My name's Brian.
Hey, Brian. What would you consider the holy grail of evidence that you've been, like, you get it and you're like, I can pack it up, I have achieved my goal as a paranormal investigator?
Probably the wrong guy to ask, because I really don't think I have one.
What's the thing you would look for, though?
Oh, what I would look for?
Yeah.
Evidence maybe of a materializing full-bodied apparition.
Okay. Okay. So what would make it good enough to share with the world, would you say?
Where you can clearly see nothing there, maybe something enters into the frame, you can see it for a second, and maybe exits the frame, like, you know, something that you can't necessarily debunk by looking at it. How about
Right.
that?
I'm guessing if Brian caught that clip, and it would, you know, we would say we put it on paranormal, caught on camera or whatever. If you did that, then I'm guessing most of the other people in the room would be like, I don't buy it. It's like too good to be true.
Right.
And that is like this kind of riddle or quandary, if you will, of some of the paranormal TV and some of the footage that we're looking at. Too good to be true, right? If something looks really good and it's clearly a form manifesting out of nowhere, and not only that, let's say you have a great freaking angle. Let's say you've got a coverage of the entire room, no corners, no like way that someone could have created some sort of mischief just out of the frame, and it even lasted, let's say, I don't know, 5 seconds would be impressive, but 10 seconds, 20 seconds. If it was that good and it was true and Brian really captured this thing, most of us would be like, it's just too good to be true. Meanwhile, the flip side of that is most of the paranormal evidence we capture is what happens right out of the corner of our eye. We turn and it's already gone, or it's a shaky, maybe it's 2 seconds, half a second, or there's something, maybe it's slightly out of the corner, so you're like, oh, what was happening right around there? I'm always asking myself when I film the show, but also in life, like, if we got really good evidence, would we believe it or would we dismiss it? You know, would we say it's too good to be true? Meanwhile, the stuff that is too shaky or too grainy or whatever, we're like, oh, if only it was clearer. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's kind of like when I see something that looks too good to be true, I'm like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it was actually something legit there. I don't know if that makes sense, but so that's like, you know, that's one thing we think about, but we don't interview the eyewitnesses. Trying to think what else. Any other questions about caught on camera? Yes, hi.
Who determines what gets ran and what's hit?
Sure. So basically we have a team of researchers that are constantly scouring the internets as well as the email inbox. You know, people submit things and we're also constantly scouring. And then there's some things that end up in the news that we will go out and license. So we have access to put it on TV. And then from there, the producers say, okay, well, here's a batch of things that we want to do. And then they make their way to us, the panelists, and then we talk about it. Now, I will say with Caught on Camera, nobody has ever put words in my mouth. Producers will interview you, but they have never said, say this. I've never been, so if I say something really stupid on TV, it's all me. It's true blue, authentic Aaron, you know? So I like that about the show, that they've never tried to force, you know, it's great narratively if sometimes you're like, you know, is that a demon? You know, they would love it if I was like, oh yeah, that's totally a demon. You know, it's like, but they don't force us to say anything, which is kind of cool. And I will even say, I don't think I've ever been edited poorly on that show, and there have been some shows. So in that clip that I showed of the Kreischer Mansion with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, I loved that experience of investigating with him. I loved that experience of filming with him. I was not happy with the final product because they had me talking about a historical element or pieces of reported phenomena in other rooms. They edited me poorly, and it sounded like I was saying things that I wasn't. I'm a journalist, I'm a researcher. When it starts looking like you're getting your facts wrong, it's not good for you, it's not good for business, and it just kind of annoys me. So I didn't like that final product, but I liked working with him. But yeah, so like I'm pleased with this show that they've not edited me in a way that is you know, that looks like I'm saying something that I didn't say. Yes, Ken.
So, are you sometimes providing any background information? If, let's say, a video captures something that's obscure from the Philippines. Well, often I watch a show and it'll have 3 speakers going, well, you know, the Aswang and this and the myth. I was like, well, you all know this obscure Filipino myth? Wow. Do they provide you background information, or do people just have to know all this?
No, they don't provide us with background information. They will, each of us sort of has different areas of expertise. But what I am not doing is, it's not like I'm sitting down to film and I haven't seen this at all. I get the clips in advance. So that way I will look at it. But I've been doing this a long time, and I have a fascination with folklore. So a lot of times I already know about it. Or I might be like, you know, what are some of the folklore going on in that part of the world? And create the connective tissue of like, well, that sounds a lot like what a lot of people have reported on. But you will also notice that Sapphire is Filipino, so this isn't just something that she's read about. This is something that connects to stories told in her family, you know? So she's bringing in her personal experience. But we just happen, I'm really pleased that I'm fortunate to be around a lot of people who have done a lot of research and know about this stuff and can speak to it. And then you have someone like Rachel, who is the woman with the curly hair and the glasses, and she has an entirely different approach that ends up being funny a lot of times and off the wall, but also like, I hadn't thought about it that way. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, they don't provide, if we have a sense of what the personal story is going to be, like they will give us maybe a little bit of a background on it, but they won't say this is an Aswang or this is a house elf or whatever, anything like that. Any other questions or thoughts about this show? Or we have currently, and I'm going to see if I can bring up some clips here, but let's see, some of the recent ones that I don't know if these have aired yet, so I could be violating an agreement. Let's see, let's do it together, guys. Let me see.
Look, they're smart, they're leaving, they don't want to be.
They're like, they know the truth yourself. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, let me try to bring this up. Okay, Did you see it? I did. Do it one more time. It's right at the beginning. It's on the left-hand side. Yeah. feel like I need to be meteorologist right here. There's a ghostly front coming in. West. Yeah, it's gonna just move right over. No, so yeah, watch towards the left. They're driving down the road. They're chit-chatting in the car, and then they see something. 1, 2. Here we go. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this clip is aired or not. So, but so what do we think about that one? Yeah. Hi.
But don't you wonder why the
Wait, one more time for us in the back, please.
One more time? Yes, I'll answer that.
You didn't quite catch it.
You didn't quite catch it? Okay.
What is it they're looking at?
Okay, so they're driving down this road, right? And then they see something on the side of the road right here, okay? Keep an eye on it, and then I'll talk a little bit about it afterwards, all right? One more time. I don't know if I can. Yeah, let's see if we can pause it right there. Keep looking down the left side. You can see it starts up here. Right there. Let's see if we can rewind it so you can kind of see it. Okay, get the reaction, live reaction, be the panelist. Okay, so but your question was?
I was just wondering, I would be skeptical because I'd be like, why are you recording it?
Great question. And a lot of other countries, especially right now, the use of dashboard cameras is very widespread because, and actually I think we're starting to see a lot more of it even in the US for insurance claims, cabbies, Uber drivers, so like everywhere. I mean, and again, this kind of, it's paranormal caught on camera, right? But we are surrounded by technology, traffic cams, ring doorbells, nanny cams. I've got a doggy cam on, and I've even seen some weird stuff through the doggy cam. We're constantly looking at collecting footage, right? So I think that's why. And what do we think about what they're seeing? What do we think about the reactions? What pops to mind? Like, what you see a dog.
I think it looks like a decapitated head.
Okay, one more. All right, class, one at a time, please. You see Dobby? Dobby again. All right, well, raise your hands. Give me your thoughts. I'll play it one more time. We'll try to. Okay, are we seeing it?
Yeah. It doesn't look like a person.
That to me looks like a person. But okay, raise your hand with the reactions, the questions. Yes.
I think it looks like a head, just kind of like.
You look. See, I see like a torso here. Okay. All right. Another reaction. Someone else, come here. Heads up. Yes.
The size of it kind of takes away the fact that it could be a person, but the way it's reflecting light also.
The thought on this one is they believe that they had encountered some sort of child on the side of the road, like that they were passing a ghostly child. So size-wise, that would account for that. But the thing that I think about, and I honestly don't even remember what I said about this clip, so I could be contradicting myself. It's funny when I occasionally do watch the show on a clip that I've commented on, because sometimes I'll say like, I'll even like be live tweeting, I'll be like, yeah, I think like, you know, who knows what this might be, it could just be a Mylar balloon in the sky, and then I come on camera, it's like, it might just be a Mylar balloon. I'm like, hey, I'm consistent, you know? Like, and then sometimes I disagree with myself, and I'm like, shut it, you guy. Like, so I view things a lot from again, I wasn't there. What I think about and am listening to here is that you have a cheerful group of people in a car, chit-chatting, having fun, driving down the road, yes, recording what they're driving, and then that beat where the tone of the people shift. Now, if that were a dog, I think the reaction would be more like, okay, if it was me, I'd be like, oh, well, watch out for that dog.
Right.
Or maybe it would be, we need to pull over and help that dog. Or and if it was a person walking down the street, a regular adult, I'd be like, dude, what an idiot walking down the street. But hey, at least they're wearing white, you know, like, but I wouldn't be freaking out. If it was a child, I might be. But let's do it one more time and let's listen to the audio again. Singing along with the music, chit-chatting. It's a catchy song. See it? And that extends 30 seconds, a whole lot of holy crap convo. So I don't know what that is. I'm not going to sit here and say that was a ghost or ghost child. But what I find compelling is the human reaction. And that to me tells a story. And that makes me think they encountered something that was out of the ordinary. And by encountering that in their reaction, like again, I'm not saying it's evidence of the paranormal, but I'm saying it's evidence of people being freaked out by something that they saw that they couldn't explain, going down a road that they're familiar with, and after having a moment of like just being friendly and hanging out with one another and singing to that very catchy song.
Do you know what they're saying exactly?
We did have it translated. Who said that? I was going to say, I didn't see your, yeah. We did have it translated. I don't think that I have the translation in front of me, but the reaction to the video, and I think even, let's see if I can bring this back down. We don't need to listen to that again. One of the things that, so this is some of the research. This is a spooky moment. A female driver claims she saw the ghost of a child who was killed in a typhoon. And it was a model, who, like a Filipino model who was driving in the Philippines and saw this, and her friends started freaking out. Now, okay, this part believes it was a child killed in a typhoon. That's where we very much, I mean, nothing about this is objective because they were part of it and they're telling the story. But when they start adding that element of like, I believe it was a child killed in a typhoon, then you get into questionable territory because it's like, well, you didn't investigate that and you didn't create that level, that kind of like, you didn't establish that story. You're making leaps here. So that is a little bit harder for me, but I do find it fascinating that they saw something on a road, was connected to tragedy. There were a lot of people killed in this area from a typhoon. So they are using their knowledge to make that leap, but they believe that they encountered something paranormal.
Why did they turn around and go back?
It's a good question, but
I know I would.
You would. Okay, you would, but okay.
So crazy like that, I'm going back.
Yeah, okay, but let's put ourselves in that situation. You say you would, and maybe you would. Maybe all of us would say we would go do that. However, one of the earliest episodes of one of the most famous paranormal shows, Ghost Hunters, is the dude run moment. So think about it this way. We all like to be the hero of our own story and say that, I mean, like, horror movies, whenever we're watching a horror movie, why are you splitting up? That's really stupid. I would never do that. I would never like walk in the direction of the killer. And yet, people constantly make dumb choices in regular life. Paranormal aside, people are texting while driving. How stupid is that? Like, but we know it, you know, it could kill you, and yet people continue to do it. We make dumb choices all the time. So it does not surprise me that even people who believe they are prepared for a paranormal experience, paranormal investigators, I have been in the room with some of you guys, and when people get freaked out, they're like, oh, I want no part of this. I want to get out. Like, something's happened. I want to get out of here. And that's okay. I respect that, but, you know, that's not an unusual reaction. In this case, they weren't expecting that paranormal, or what they believed was a paranormal moment. So I give them a pass for that. Of course you want to say, go back and look. I'm actually, when it comes to analyzing videos on this show, I'm more willing to give a pass to this person than to a paranormal investigator. Because when I watch videos coming from paranormal investigators and they run away, I'm like, this is what you're looking for. Like, you're literally in a room asking for signs of communication, and when you get it, you're like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Like, that blows my mind. But I think that's a valid question. I'm not picking on you. I think it's a valid question. It's just like, why do I sometimes, stay out too late when I know I've got an early morning the next day? We're constantly doing stupid things in regular life, ghosts aside. Any other thoughts about this video? Any other questions about this? Who thinks it might be something spooky? Okay, small amount of you. Okay, so then give me another explanation here. You're not going to offend me. It's not my video. It's not my ghost. What's that?
Just garbage?
Just garbage.
Yeah, just some sort of weird shaped garbage that's laying on the side of the road.
I don't know. That's a hard one for me, because the reaction of the people is too shocking. Yes?
I have an issue though with the reaction. You're talking about how you don't know what that object is. Fine.
Right.
If you're driving down the road and we're talking, having a conversation, blah, 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 oh shit, deer, you don't know. Was it paranormal? Was it an animal? It's like with this. Could it be an object? As you're driving along, and even you were talking, you got the young people doing all their texting and stuff. Oh, you shouldn't do that. So, you don't know what this is.
But the sounds of the people shift.
Right. But it doesn't mean like it doesn't mean it's paranormal. Because like if you're driving down the road, you and me driving down, and we're not paying attention, and a deer or a dog or a squirrel comes up and you're like, oh shit. You get the same type of reaction you're getting from this.
Would it go on for that long?
It just depends on the situation. But I'm just kind of curious, a lot of these things, when you were showing your different videos, like, it could be, it not be, but.
You're right, and that's the thing. Like, it could be or it could not be. And again, I try not to label things 100% paranormal. Even on the show, like, I couch things typically in a, if this is legit, if I'm seeing everything that there is to see about this, this is where my mind would go. But again, I think it's more compelling about the reactions of the people, because I think that is more than, oh shit, it's a deer.
And that's possible, right? I'm not disagreeing, but I just want to bring that up too.
Yeah.
We have those interactions ourselves just in the normal daytime.
Yeah.
You see something unexpected, and that's what throws a lot of people. Now, in this case, it may have been more extended than you or me going down the road, but we just don't know.
All right. Well, let's see what else. Any other thoughts about this one? And I'll show you another clip. Yeah.
I was just going to say that just for the benefit of the doubt, the people that are in the car have a different perspective than the little mounted camera on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Could be a cheap camera and they're just seeing a pixelated image, but in real life they could be seeing something that really elicited that response.
Yeah, and as they're traveling at that speed, they're not getting necessarily the clearest image either. So yeah, that changes it as well. Let's see this. You wanna? Any other thoughts on that one? Or you want to skunk it? I don't know where in this clip this happens, and if you have any other questions, I don't know what time we're at. Lay it on me, because I'm happy to go in another direction as well. But again, I don't know if this is there. Let me see if there's audio on this.
Oh, there it is. Try turning up the volume on your.
I don't know. I don't think there is audio on this one.
Oh.
Yeah. There he is.
All right, are we seeing it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're seeing something. Okay. This is the unedited video. A lot of times these videos are maybe longer, or they have different kind of like he's throwing a log in the water, yeah.
Do we know where it was
We do. Florida is technically the home of skunk ape, but you could also go up to parts of Louisiana, Alabama. I think you still get into skunk ape territory. All right. Let's skip ahead a little bit and see if Skunky does anything else. He's just hanging out. Okay, so we 100% everybody sees something. Okay. All right, let's pause and just get a temperature of the room. Who thinks they're looking at something like that this is paranormal, that this is a skunk ape? Cam is on board with it.
I believe it.
Okay, why?
Well, it's interesting to me, the angle of that, at least the way my eye's seeing it, there seems like the conical shape of a head, which is traditional sort of in Bigfoot or skunk ape type of thing. So, you know, a lot of people faking it don't necessarily know that kind of detail. They just put a guy in a gorilla suit.
Okay. Anyone want to give a counterpoint on that? While you're doing that, I'm trying to look up the information of, I'm looking on the production notes for this if I can find it. Anyone want to give a counterpoint to that as far as why they think it's total BS?
It doesn't look like it belongs in the other, the pixels don't look the same.
So you're saying it looks like it was inserted in?
Yes.
Okay.
How about you're in the middle of some dense woods in the middle of nowhere, and this thing doesn't hear you chopping through the woods?
That's a solid point. Or, why are you filming? Okay, wait, but hold on. With that, why are you filming? If you're in the woods and you see something, even if you think you're sneaking up on it, I think that has become a very natural reaction to bust out the camera. Either, I tend to find people are either so afraid of something that they hightail it and go in the other direction, or if they think that they can shoot something, well, film it, and get like a viral moment or whatever out of it. That makes sense to me, why you would try to film it. That makes sense to me. I think as far as the level of the detail itself, so it does seem to be behaving based on what we've theorized about Bigfoot and Sasquatch, right? It is clearly a large shape. It does have this kind of conical head. It is tossing some branches. It's doing things that, you know, I think most of us tend to say, oh, well, that's classic Bigfoot behavior, but is it legit or not? Any other thoughts on this one?
I think somebody had a chimp or something for a pet, couldn't handle it, and let it go in the forest. And there it is.
Okay. It looks a little big. Looks a little too big to be a chimp to me.
So my comment would be, I kind of question both sides, because when it does show the outline of the head, you see like what looks like a hand go up, and that's proportional to what the size of the head and the shoulders look like.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, obviously this guy is moving around and branches coming out, and I would think that you'd be able to hear that.
I mean, so as far as the person being there, I mean, I've spent time in the who goes camping, hiking, hunting, who spends a lot of time in the woods. When you see things, I mean, even, okay, so I went for a run this morning out here. I saw multiple deer, and multiple deer saw me. They didn't automatically run away. They gauged the situation for a moment. I've seen bear in the woods, and if they see you and you see them, like, there's that kind of moment of like, what's gonna happen next? Not all creatures run away just because they hear you in the area. Right. They might just not consider you a threat. Yeah, right. The thing that I found interesting about this was actually the sagittal crest, the bony sagittal crest on it. It does look like this has this bony head. It could be a man in suit. Could be a man in suit. It's definitely something. I think it's too large to be a chimp. To me, it does look like it has a thick black hair to it. It's weird that it's tearing the wood off the trees and tossing it in the water. with Sasquatch, there's one of the theories is that they build a lot of tree structures, right? That's something that they talk about with it. It's weird, in this case, he's not trying to build something, he's just getting rid of crap. I don't know, maybe he's like Marie Kondoing his woods. Like, he's like, this branch does not give me joy. Okay, and then, let's see here. I think at one point though, maybe there is audio that's not coming up in this clip, but I think at one point this guy who's filming it, so he hangs out for a minute, I think he bolts on this one. I think he ends up getting freaked out. Again, oh, so when it stands up, so watch as this guy runs away. Looks like he either drops or he stops, and then he's hoofing it.
But that's a natural reaction. That feels very real to me. When you see that moment, if you're faking it,
right, you would like not.
You want to like do a little bit more, but if you see that, you go,
let's go back for a second. But I like it because we're seeing how large this thing is. Again, could be a hoax, could be 2 minutes. Oh, sorry. It could be a hoax. It could be, you know, man in suit, and yet that reaction is kind of interesting once you see how big it is. So I think we're we are actually out of time. What I want to say real quick is, if I can bring this back up, my 2 minutes left. I do want to ask you guys, first off, this is a new project I'm working on with Ripley's, believe it or not, called Ripley's Road Trip. You can watch the first episode at youtube.com/Ripley's. It's a travel show where we explore oddities and folklore. Please check that out. And finally, I am running the New York City Marathon, and I'm doing it for the East Side House charity in the Bronx, and they do a lot of good things for a lot of people. Through all my Instagram and everything, you can find the link there. Donate if you can. If you can't, I still just appreciate your support and your cheers. And I also have like a marathon gear wish list, because apparently you go through a lot of laundry and stuff as you're training. And then finally, tell me a story. Hit me up on my Patreon, Geeky Creepy Tiki Travels. We also do tiki cocktails and live streams. I do the Nightmarica podcast. Send me your stories and we'll put them on there. And please give me a shout on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Even though I'm done here, I'm going to go back to my table. Stick around for the next talk, which is
Cindy Keza.
Cindy Keza. And then once you're done with that, come say hi, come ask questions, and don't be a stranger. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you had fun.
Cindy Keza is doing her gallery. There are still some tickets available. If you are interested in getting part of the gallery session, go see Sarah out in the hall, lovely blonde lady with the white shirt on. She can help you get the tickets. But if we can clear the room and give it a chance to clean out a little bit, and then they'll take your tickets and they'll let you back in. But make sure if you have not seen a gallery session, you're going to want to check this out.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, check. Good girl. I'm going to
On our show?
Yes.
Well, I think all of us try to have enough of a healthy skepticism. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Maybe question